Alright, hello gamers. Today's video, well, we're going to just a little bit of an old story. Pokemon Creepypasta called Nasty Plot. Now, shall we begin? Does anyone remember that old Celebi event from 2011, released around the end of February? There wasn't really anything notable about the Celebi itself, it wasn't shiny or anything, and its moveset wasn't really all that notable or special, well, except for that one move. When you put it on your Heart Gold and Soul Silver game, it triggered some sort of in-game event that I had no idea how to access. Nobody ever told me what I was supposed to do, but I had no idea that it had to be anything like this. It all started after I eagerly rushed in and out of GameStop to receive my adorable Celebi. It was one of my favourite Pokemon and I was ready to play with it as soon as I got home. When I started up my game, I gasped when I didn't see it in my party. I panicked for a moment until I remembered I just had to go to the Pokemart to get it and was relieved. I happily hummed to myself as I ran to the Goldenrod City's huge Pokemart place. Player received a Celebi! I talked to the delivery man, didn't even pay attention to what he said and just skipped through all of his text. Once all was said and done, I opened up my party. I went into a squealing fit when I saw Celebi sitting at the bottom. I switched my new Celebi to the front of my party and exited out of the menu. I ran out of the store and immediately turned around and talked to it. Celebi seems to be feeling great about walking with you. I talk to it again. A little heart appears above its head, an image. And whoa! Celebi suddenly hugged you. I squealed as I read that text. My Celebi already loved me! I raced out of the town and went into the tall grass, where I ran into a wild Drowsy. Psh, that's easy to beat, I whispered to myself. I selected Fight and looked at Celebi's moveset. Leaf Storm, Recover, Nasty Plot, and Healing Wish. Celebi used Leaf Storm. The wild Drowsy fainted. I'd done Leaf Storm, and leaves started swirling onto the screen, which knocked out the Drowsy in one hit. Celebi's special attack lowered afterwards, and the battle ended. I opened the menu and looked at Celebi's summary, where I clicked on its moves. I realised that Leaf Storm was the only move that did any damage at all, and only had 5 power points. So I decided I wouldn't use Celebi for battle much, but I still wanted to play with it. I took a moment to think about what I could do with it that didn't involve battling. Then an idea hit me. Pokeathlon! I shouted out loud to myself. I ran to the Pokeathlon Dome and entered the speed contest. Celebi, Yam Yams the Yanma, and Dune the Dunsparce practically owns the entire competition. I entered the contest again, and when I next checked the clock I realised I'd been playing for an hour already. I decided that maybe I should take a break. Just as I was about to turn the game off though, I received a call from the daycare man. He had an egg for me. I remembered that I had a Ditto and Eevee in the daycare that I'd forgotten about. I raced back to Goldenrod City and went to the Pokemon Center. With all of my party Pokemon in the PC except for Celebi, just in case I wanted to hatch more than one egg. Once I was done, I went to the daycare man, and after hurriedly skipping through all of his lines of text, he gave me my egg. Alright, now we just gotta hatch it, I told my Celebi, despite the fact that I was speaking to an inanimate object. I ran in circles for several minutes, then into Goldenrod, then back out. I clicked on the egg summary inside. This was going to take a lot longer than I originally thought. The screenshot says, a mysterious Pokemon egg received from the daycare couple. The Egg Watch. What will hatch from this? It doesn't seem close to hatching. I decided I would randomly battle a Pokemon for the heck of it. I ran into the tall grass and another wild Drowsy appeared. I clicked on the fight. I was about to select Leaf Storm, I decided I would try out Nasty Plot just for the heck of it. I selected the move. Puffs of smoke and question marks appeared around Celebi, and a hand pointing upwards popped above its head. Its special attack rose. While Drowsy used Hypnosis, the attack missed. I clicked Nasty Plot again for no reason. The smokes and question marks appeared once more, then the hand. Drowsy used Hypnosis again, but missed. I used Nasty Plot one more time, just because I could. Same animation, Drowsy still attacked and missed. I used Leaf Storm this time around. The Drowsy fell with no problem and Celebi gained its boosted experience points as the battle ended. Not thinking anything of the battle, I went straight to walking around to hatch my egg. I walked over to the daycare man and he had another egg, skipped through the lines of text like usual and got my new egg. I think as an exclamation marks appeared above Celebi. Celebi pointed to something in the distance! As soon as I got my egg, an exclamation point appeared above Celebi's head. It nudged my trainer, she turned around. I was looking down. My trainer turned south and stared down the route. Celebi slowly inched towards my character, then quickly retreated. Nothing happened for a minute, then I realised I was in control now. Well, that was weird, I muttered to myself. I talked to Celebi again. Celebi is a picture of innocence! But I didn't understand what that meant. I opened the menu and clicked on my party. Instead of 2 eggs like I was expecting, there was only 1. Where's my other egg? I thought. I exited the menu and talked to the daycare man to see if there was a mistake of some kind. He informed me that my Pokemon were doing just fine and they didn't seem to like each other. I turned around and talked to Celebi again to see if maybe it could help me. Celebi is a picture of innocence. That didn't help me much. I sighed and gave up. I couldn't think of anything else that could help me get my egg back. I decided I would just run around and try to hatch the 1 egg I did have. And after a couple of minutes of running in circles, I got another call from the daycare man saying he had another egg. I was already standing by him, so I walked up to him and talked to him. He said the usual, gave me my egg. As soon as I received it, an exclamation mark appeared above Celebi's head. He nudged me the same way he did last time. My trainer turned to it, saying that Celebi pointed to something in the distance. The trainer turned down the path again, and Celebi slowly inched towards her, and I was in control again. And again, the egg was missing. What keeps happening to my other egg? I asked to myself. She led to nothing. I exited out of the menu and talked to Celebi. The same text appeared as before. I scowled and talked to it again. Celebi is a picture of innocence. Celebi is a picture of innocence. No matter how many times I talked, it kept saying the same thing over and over again. I really didn't know how to react. I was a little creeped out, but not much. I thought it would be best just to shrug it off and keep playing. I started running around a bit more, not knowing what to do. After a single minute, I got very bored and talked to my Celebi again. There's a question mark above its head, and Celebi is thinking. Exclamation mark appears above its head. Celebi got an idea! I waited to see what it would do, but nothing happened. I checked on my egg to see how close it was to hatching. Turning out to hatch a lot sooner than I had expected, I exited out of the menu and took a step. Oh? The text box appeared. It took me to the scene where my egg hatches. I squealed as I waited for my new baby Eevee to hatch. It cracked, popped open. Nothing hatched from the egg! Nothing was in the egg. Hey, what gives? I yelled at my DS as the screen started to fade away. Once it was back at the overworld, I looked at my party. There was only Celebi. I exited and talked to Celebi. Celebi is a picture of innocence. I glared at it, wishing that it would fess up and admit it had done something. I kept talking to it over and over, but this time it kept saying the same thing over and over. Eventually, I gave up. I ran into Goldenrod and went to the Pokemon Center. I went inside and talked to it one last time. Huh? Celebi is holding something. Would you like to take it? I was a bit shocked and clicked yes. An angry face above Celebi. Oh, it seems just too important to let go. I scowled and went to the PC. I put Celebi in and replaced it with my female Umbreon, Angel. I left the Pokemon Center and went to the Pokeathlon Dome. I thought that maybe if I played there for a while and left Celebi alone for a bit, then it might go back to normal. I entered a couple of contests, but failed at most of them. I couldn't focus. After playing for only about 30 minutes, which isn't long for me, I decided I wanted to pick up the rest of my team and proceed with the game's story. When I went into the PC, I gasped. None of my Pokemon were in there, except for Celebi. I selected Celebi and put it the first of my party. I was on the verge of just releasing Celebi, but before I could consider it, I realised that Celebi was holding an item, which it was suspiciously hiding behind its back, no doubt. Steak? What the heck? Held items? Steak can't be taken away. I tried taking it away to investigate, but it didn't work. I was now completely confused with everything that was going on. I scowled and exited the menu, where then I talked to Celebi one last time. Celebi is a picture of innocence. I highly doubted that. I walked out of the Pokeathlon Dome. Not long after I'd taken a couple of steps, I got a call. It was from Joey, and he talked about his top percentage Rattata as usual. Celebi wants to meet Joey! Yes or no? When he was done talking, Celebi nudged my trainer and prompted this text along with a yes-no option. I selected no and continued walking. I was still pretty fed up at Celebi having gotten rid of all my Pokemon, and I wasn't about to cater to its requests. But after a few more steps, Celebi nudged my trainer again. Celebi wants to meet Joey! I selected no once more and walked a few more steps. Celebi wants to meet Joey, but I was stopped again. I sighed and selected yes. I didn't really have much left to lose anyways. My trainer started to spin like when you use an escape rope. Teleported in front of Joey. He started talking to a trainer without me pressing anything. Wasn't given a yes or no option. I've been waiting now. Let's battle now. Said Celebi snuck up behind Joey and quickly flew back to my trainer. I was given a yes or no option. I selected yes, thinking it was the best answer. Battle started. Joey threw out a Pokeball. Youngster Joey sent out nothing. But instead of his prize Rattata coming out, nothing appeared on the screen. Go, Celebi! My trainer threw Celebi out. Before I could select anything, Joey's sprites moved back on screen. My Rattata! Where is it? Battle then slowly faded to black. My Rattata! It's gone! Once I got back to the overworld, Joey spoke. Joey's sprite started moving around as if he was searching for his lost Pokemon. I immediately turned to Celebi. Celebi is a picture of innocence! I was getting really annoyed at this Celebi, even more than I already was. Celebi suddenly flew away from my trainer. I was wondering what it ran away for. That's when I noticed the Pokedex, trainer card, bag, and Pokegear options in the menu were missing. He growled out loud and started to chase after Celebi. It was waiting for me just off screen. As soon as it saw me though, it started to fly away. I chased it in circles for several minutes, but it was always much faster than my trainer. It eventually just stopped. After a few moments, Celebi floated back over to my trainer. I talked to it again, but the only thing I got out of it was the urge to strangle that legendary so badly right then. Celebi is a picture of innocence! I opened the menu and looked at my party. Angel was missing. Alright, that's the last straw! I gripped my DS so tight I nearly broke it in two. I exited out of the menu and thought about what to do for a moment. That was one of the biggest light bulbs ever went off in my head. I turned my DS off! I hadn't saved the game since I had received Celebi from the delivery man, which I was very thankful for now. I sighed in relief, thankful for it all to be over. I turned my DS back on, and when I got to the menu, I selected continue. When it had finished loading though, my trainer was standing in the middle of virtually nothing, and everything was blank. Before I could react properly, Celebi floated up to my trainer. Celebi is a picture of innocence, and a heart appears above its head. Then it quickly floated away and my game froze. I tried moving, pressing every button, but nothing would work. Turning my DS off, hoping that a save file would work this time around. When the title screen loaded back up, I pressed start. The save file will be erased due to corruption or damage. I threw my DS aside and screamed into my pillow. I wildly thrashed my arms and legs about like a possessed child. Once I had finished letting my anger out and my throat had become sore from too much screaming, I sat up. Tears began streaming down my face. I sat there and cried my heart out. After several minutes, I had stopped crying. Although sniffling, I grabbed my DS. I went back to the menu and selected New Game. When it loaded, I was shocked to see that I was in Goldenrod City with Angel right behind me. As soon as I took one step, I got a call from the daycare man. He said he had an egg for me. I ran to the daycare, talked to the daycare man, slowly going through his text this time. I received my egg, and I opened my party to look at my egg just to make sure it was still there. I breathed a sigh of relief. My game was back to normal and I could finally hatch my long-awaited EV. Maybe it's just because I had gone through so much emotional torture just to obtain it. I had a good feeling about this egg. Whatever this EV was when it hatched, I vowed to cherish it. Oh? After running around for several minutes, my eyes sparkled with hope as it prepared to hatch. I was met with a horrifying wake-up call. Celebi hatched from the egg! No, no! I scowled to see that familiar face next to me in the overworld. I checked my party and Angel was gone yet again. I spoke to the little devil just to see what it had to say for itself and it replied with one simple thing. Celebi is a picture of innocence! Well, that was the story. I don't know about you. I thought it was fairly fun. It could have been better. Could have been more believable. But I liked the part where it had the running phrase, the repeated phrase of Celebi is a picture of innocence going through the whole thing. Quite like that. That was good. The idea of an event Pokemon having a weird secret interaction Although it was nothing like this, there have been event Pokemon that would unlock secret events in the game, such as the spiky-eared Pichu in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which, funnily enough, I believe was the means which would let you actually catch your own Celebi. But not an evil one, a regular one, which is fun. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, if we I like the inclusion of several edited screenshots of an actual Pokemon DS game. That was nice. It was really a good bit of effort put into it. It's not the most skilled. I'm sure it's not the most skilled thing. I'm sure there's better written stories out there, but for what it was, a fun little story about a creepy made up secret in a Pokemon game, I think it was fairly good. It was a fun little time reading it here. And I think that will be the end of this. I'll be making more of these, covering other stories that I remembered, and maybe some that are new to me. But I'm starting with the ones I'm familiar with. Thank you, and good night.